Hi everyone, welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and this is a follow-up video to the Season 6 review I did of this channel. I don't review except when I'm reviewing myself, apparently. Well, anyway, this was a video I created to get your feedback on the past season and to talk about my thoughts about it and my hopes for Season 7 as I prepare the fundraiser. Before we get into your responses, I just want to quickly say that while I'm not going to be obviously able to reply to everyone's comments, and many of the ones that I am replying to I've trimmed down just to save some time. I did, however, read all of the comments fully, and I would want to say a very heartfelt thank you to everyone who took the time to leave comments, thoughts, suggestions. There was a lot of very kind things that were said, and I'm not going to read those here because it's hard to do that out loud, but I just want to say that that meant a lot to me to have people say that they appreciate the show. All right, let's get on here with Donna B, who asks, when in July does your Season 7 fundraiser go active? Well, hopefully sometime before July 21st. I really don't have a specific day pinned down. I'd like to, and I feel like I ought to, but I'm just right now, July is kind of a content crunch creation time. I've got First Martians, Wasteland Delivery Express, in addition to all the other normal activities I try to do here on the channel. And the schedule's a little messy right now. Okay, James Cartwright says, looking forward to the next season, Rodney. I hope there'll be some nice promos on offer. Yes, there will be nice promos offered, but James, I'm glad you asked this question because it gives me an opportunity to talk about another change that's going to be happening to this season's fundraiser, and that is, I'll be offering fewer promos. And I know that might seem counterintuitive, so let me explain. When I went out to publishers this season to talk about having some custom promos made, I noticed what I can only describe as a certain amount of promo fatigue. And I think it's perfectly reasonable. If you're a publisher and you're offering promos to me and to the Dice Tower and to lots of other different fundraisers who are trying to support their content, then at a certain point you have to say no. And where do you draw that line? For a lot of publishers, I think it's going to be easier just to say no more promos. And I think I need to see that writing on the wall. And I think it's also important, and perhaps this is maybe the most important aspect to this, to not set the wrong expectations for the people who support this channel. I have said in the past that when you support our fundraiser, don't do it to get the promos, but can I really say that on one hand, and on the other, have a page just full of promos? I mean, what is the message I'm sending here? The fundraiser should not be viewed as a promo store. And what you're supporting when you donate to the channel is this, the content that's being created. And I think if I want a true measure of who's supporting this channel for the content that I'm creating, then backing off on the promos is actually the right thing to do anyway. And yes, it does scare me a little bit because I know some people do support just to get a particular promo or to fill out a collection or to have, got to catch them all kind of thing. And that's not wrong, but it's not why I do this. I do this so that hopefully at the end of the day you go, I really like this content, I want it to continue, and I want to give you the means, Rodney, to be able to keep doing it. And my half of that bargain is to get up every day and treat this like a job and work and hopefully earn every penny that I collect. And as long as you feel like I'm doing that and I feel like I'm doing that, then I feel like it's a fair trade. So hopefully that seems fair. I'm very interested in your thoughts and comments about this, so certainly feel free to put those in the comments as well. Kudan666 writes, how do you feel about someone who just occasionally watches your instructional videos but doesn't support your campaign? Kudan, even if you watched every single video that I've ever created, if you didn't support the show, I wouldn't feel any less about you. It's a difficult thing to explain because, yes, obviously I need the support to keep doing this channel. And the people who support the show financially impact my life in a very real way. So obviously I do feel a very strong sense of gratitude towards those folk. But there's a lot of people who will watch this channel who will never support, who can't. It would be fiscally irresponsible for them to. And I don't feel like they're doing wrong by me in some way. No one is obligated to support this show financially, even though obviously I really appreciate the people who can and are able to. Cole Fisher wrote, when it comes to your goal for the year, for me, I pledge what I can based on what your show's value is to me. The end total is not something I pay much attention to or worry about. I think that's a nice follow-up to that last question because I think it's just a good philosophy. Obviously, to me personally, I need to raise a certain amount of money to be able to keep doing this full time. But for each individual, what I think is important is that you're donating to the level that equals what you perceive to be the value of this show to you, or that represents your support of that value. Nereus writes, not sure if I'll be able to support the show financially, but you'll always have my moral support. Unless you start murdering people or something, please don't do that. That seems fair. Nereus, this year I promise I won't murder anyone. Dylan Maltby writes, my hope is that your fundraiser continues to grow. Not to make you a wealthy person, though I wouldn't mind if you got a raise, but to fund additional things the channel can do. Well, first of all, thank you, Dylan, for that. Yeah, any additional funds that we do raise will go back into the show to support it, or just to handle personal family emergencies or anything else like that. There's always wear and tear that happens on the equipment and unexpected expenses, so additional money can just help create that kind of safety cushion. But this does raise an interesting point. Nicholas Wozniacki writes, I love the videos, but there needs to be a list or format of what is being funded. I felt I funded trips to game conventions and a new basement. When you support something, you want the money to go to the appropriate things, right? And I can even understand, a person wanting to be able to prevent the money from being spent on things that you wouldn't personally approve. But of course, everyone's going to have very differing opinions about what that would be. And I honestly don't want to open myself up to that level of public scrutiny. So I would not offer some kind of itemized list of, here's exactly precisely what I'm spending all the money on. The money that I receive for Watch It Played goes to a variety of things. For example, this carrot was paid for by Watch It Played. As the gas money I put in my car to go to the dentist, that's Watch It Played money. The conventions I go to, this chair I'm sitting in, yeah, all of those things are supported by Watch It Played, because Watch It Played's fundraiser basically is giving me a salary, and that's what salaries are used for, to pay for life, right? So my hope is that when you tune into the show, you feel like you're seeing somebody who's getting up every day and working very hard for the money that they earn. And as long as you feel that confidence, then I think I feel confident that I'm doing right by you. So I don't know if that answers your question the way you want it to be answered, but hopefully that is on some level satisfying. Cooley Dub writes, Pep is a great addition to your team, but my kids and I also love it when Luke and Andrea are on. I know they're doing their own things now, but maybe someone from your gaming group has young kids that would like to be a guest on your show. Cooley, and I think others as well, have enjoyed seeing different age groups represented in the gameplays that we feature. Cooley, the reason why this wouldn't work is, well, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'll do my best. When you watch one of our 15-minute gameplay episodes, it actually represents oftentimes several hours of recording time. When Andrea and I first started the show, we were doing it together. We were discovering what this process was as we went along. But then, of course, yeah, she moved away to university, so she's not able to be on the show. Luke, when he first started, he wasn't in school, or he was very young and school was very easy. So he had lots of free and spare time, and that's simply not true anymore. The time commitment this requires, well, it isn't just time. It also requires a sort of personal commitment to Watch It Played itself, to sit down here for a few hours a day to record that, what amounts to 15 minutes of gameplay content. And that's why Pep's able to do it, because he's working full-time on the show. And because he's Pep, because he's great. I wouldn't just have sort of anyone on the channel. It would have to be someone I really wanted to spend that amount of time creating the content with. So just casually grabbing some of my friends' kids, that wouldn't really work out. Though I appreciate what you were going for there, and I understand the desire behind it. Listen, the kids are a special part of the show, and as they're able, they will definitely make their return, I'm sure. Gazinta Fox writes, if you want to get more gameplay videos in, it might be worth considering doing at least some complete gameplay videos without stopping for the audience to help with the gameplay decisions. I was glad for this comment because I wanted to clarify when we stop to get the viewer feedback on what we should be doing for our next turns, that doesn't actually prevent us from creating more content. Again, the 15-minute video that you're watching represents a few hours of recording time, and then after that, of course, we have to edit the show and then release it. So we'll often start recording in the morning. It's not till sometime in the evening that 15 minutes of content is ready to go out to the editors. We have people who back the show that get to the editor level that then see the content in advance and will let us know we have any mistakes. And then we go and we reshoot. So that's another reason why I wouldn't want to actually do everything at once, because we wouldn't catch those mistakes mid-course and be able to correct them, which I think is really important. I really like, if we do make a mistake, that I have an opportunity to address it before we get so far into the gameplay, we can't fix it. But either way, again, the reason that we stop is not because we have to. It's because it's a fundamental part of the show that I like having in there, and stopping means I can go work on the other aspects of the show that need to be done, like scripting the next tutorial videos, the social media aspect of it, replying to people's comments, and so on. But anyway, my hope is just that we find more hours in the day to be able to do more of those gameplays and tutorial videos with. Peter Skilton writes, have you thought about having your supporters pick a game or two which you'd do a video for? You could still have control over which games that you offer them to vote on. Well, Peter, we've actually done this in the past, and I would consider doing it again, but I do have some reservations because right now it's not difficult for me to fill or overfill my schedule with games that I want to feature. But again, this is something I'll consider it. We do hope to have some fun stretch goals along the way during the fundraiser. GoGuard84 said, I just hope you never cross a point that the show stops being enjoyable. Well, I think that's another reason why I like having complete control over which games I'm featuring and when I'm featuring them, because it ensures that I'm always working on content that I personally feel invested in doing, and I think that does help prevent potential burnout. But I can tell you right now, 6 years in and heading into the 7th, I love doing this show just as much as ever, if not more, and I certainly hope that that continues. Mao Chris writes, I think your dice rolling has even improved over the years. Well, thank you for noticing, Mao. I appreciate that. Ledbretter writes, bring back the old music. Changing the music on the channel might be the single most divisive thing I've ever done. And I apologize for that. I don't intend to change the music right now, but I want to assure you, Ledbretter and everyone else who's commented, I have seen that feedback and I am taking it on board. We'll see what the future holds, but for now, I think I'd like to keep the music as it is. Matt Maneri writes, if I had a personal preference, it would be for more gameplay videos and less instructionals. And Sad Zero Happy writes, I really like the tutorial videos more than the actual gameplay stuff. That kind of goes back to the comment on the music. People have varying and differing opinions on what they like and don't like, and what I have to hope is that on balance, I make the right overall decisions. And as it relates specifically to tutorial and gameplay videos, again, I will do my best to strike what I think is the right balance there. Rolling Dice and Taking Names asks, will Season 7 cover Star Wars Rebellion asking for a friend? Marty. Meant to delete that question. Though it does raise an interesting point. I do get asked with some frequency questions like, Rodney, do you plan to do a video for game X or a gameplay for game Y? And I've made a personal rule not to answer those questions. And the reason is simply because I don't want to disappoint people. Sometimes my schedule changes. So if I said, yes, I'm going to do game X, and then I don't end up doing, it just leads to questions of, Rodney, how come you didn't do game X? And so I don't want to disappoint people or set the wrong expectations. So instead, at the point I'm scripting a game, I will usually on social media make some kind of comment about it. So if you're curious, you can kind of keep an eye out there, but otherwise, I'll just wait and surprise you. Tom Lund writes, I know that it takes time away from other content, but I'd love to see the more consistent return of Table Talk and Table Talk back. Tom, me too, and I will do my best. That is one of my favorite segments to work on. I love talking to our viewers about different gaming-related topics and getting their feedback. I walk away from those feeling like I've expanded my perspective on the gaming hobby, And that just means a lot to me personally. This is something that I do hope we can get back to doing more consistently. It is the content that, when we get busy, gets pushed, but we will bring it back, I'm sure, in some way or another, whenever we can. Bill Martin says, would you consider running a dual campaign on Kickstarter as well? Bill, not really. First of all, I wouldn't know exactly how to split up the goals between the two fundraisers, and I don't really want to split the party either. I don't want to split our viewers between these two platforms. But the main reason is because fulfillment is already a very complex process for me to do personally, because I offer promos and I let people pick which promos they want and things like that. And I have software that I've already spent a certain amount of money on, not an insignificant amount on, getting created to work with Indiegogo. And I would not want to introduce that variable into the fulfillment process, trying to do it also on Kickstarter. So unfortunately for now, I'm sticking with the one platform. It has worked out really well for us in the past, and hopefully it will continue to work out for those who want to support the show. Fizak Films writes, it may be short notice, but you could do the live gaming marathon during the fundraiser. Fizak Films, that is a great idea. I don't know if we can make it work time-wise, but that is something I will try to aim for. If we don't, it won't be for lack of trying, I assure you. And just to end here, Pixel Sticks writes, seeing the new studio space, as well as having Pep on full-time, and knowing that I had at least a very small part in helping that become a reality, gives me great pride and makes me feel very happy. Pixel Sticks, that sentiment, which you expressed and others did as well, means a lot to me. Obviously, a few hundreds, if not thousands of miles separate us, but my hope is that when you tune into our channel, for a few minutes of your day, you feel like you've been invited to join me in my home, to sit at my game table and learn and play some games with me and my family and my friends. And I think that connection is something that all of us crave on some level as a part of this hobby and just life in general. So thank you. Thank you for feeling that connection, and thank you for helping me feel that connection as well. It means a great deal. I hope that, although I wasn't able to cover everyone's comments and thoughts, I hope I covered a broad scope of them enough that you feel like I addressed some of your thoughts. If you have any other ones, though, please feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll gladly do my very best to try to answer all of them. But until the next episode, thanks for watching.